and I did it, and I felt really good afterwards. Partly because everyone was crying.
Do you avoid going out at that time of year?
Yep.
My eyes sprung a little leak.
Sprung a little leak. I love it.
What are some of the things in your experience that have been difficult around Christmas time? My name's Lynsey and I am so doing Christmas.
I'm Finn and I am not doing Christmas.
Fabulous. I'm Ruth and apparently Christmas is coming up. So Lynsey, it would be really cool if you could tell us a little bit about what you do. This is the first time you've jumped on one of our podcasts.
Oh gosh, what do you need to know about me? So I am the head of care development and opportunities for Break, which means I look after a lot of the workforce development, so the staff training, making sure everybody has what they need. I also work with Break Therapeutic Services and with the opportunities team as well.
And what about you? We've heard your voice a lot and we love it.
I live as part of the Staying Connected project.
Yeah.
I'm a peer mentor, and I do some work with Jules as part of the comms and marketing team.
TikTok? You love the TikTok?
I do. I'm a bit of a celebrity, but...
Bit of a B-knock, have you heard that?
The B-knock?
Big name on campus. That is now you. Big name around Break.
B-knob.
B-knob. So back to Christmas. That's what we're going to talk about. Tell us a little bit about what is the plan, what is the idea of this podcast? Why do we want people to hear it?
It's to raise awareness of what Christmas can be like for both people in care and care leavers, like myself.
Yeah.
So I would like to know from you, Finn, what are some of the things in your experience that have been difficult around Christmas time?
For me personally, there's like two main things. One is like money and like the expectations of people wanting like expensive-ish gifts. Like I can't really afford that, and like I've noticed that some people can be a bit ungrateful when it comes to receiving presents. I'm a bit iffy myself about receiving presents, but I love giving them, even if it's just a box of chocolates or...
So it feels difficult to get presents from people around Christmas time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be hard for young people to accept sort of nice things. Then the other one is like isolation during the holidays. Like for most of my life I didn't really see family around Christmas because my mum was far away and like everyone else was far. But last year I spent Christmas with my aunt and that was lovely. And this year I'm going to visit my partner.
Nice. So I guess thinking about your time growing up in a children's home, were there things that the team around you could do that were helpful around those tricky things?
At the house I lived in, they never like forced me to... I mean, we all sat together and opened our presents in the morning and we had a really big breakfast. But after that, we could just do whatever we want and the staff wouldn't force us to do any Christmas stuff if we didn't want to.
Oh, that's good. And what really helped around those tricky times? Can you remember anything that you thought, actually, that was really good, it was really helpful for me?
Having the company.
Okay.
Like knowing that even if I was shut up in my room, that I would have someone to talk to. That was really useful.
And thinking about now, obviously living on your own, what are some of the things that people around, certainly within your network now, can do for that to feel less kind of isolating?
I'm really bad at messaging when I'm in like a sort of lower state of mind. So even if like either my transition worker or someone from housing or someone from BTS were just to be like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to like see me before I go off for Christmas or something? Like just a little check-up just to make sure that I'm okay.
So that being held in mind is really important at that time of year, particularly.
Company is the best thing.
Yeah, okay.
Just don't bombard me with Christmas things.
One of the things that I really love about Christmas is those moments in time to connect with the people that you really care about. And I guess what I'm hearing from you is that can feel really difficult when people go off on Christmas leave, or, you know, you don't have those opportunities to connect, which kind of leads us, I guess, nicely into one of the questions you wanted to ask, maybe.
How do you sensitively manage being alongside young people that find Christmas difficult when you love it so much?
The way I always like to work with young people and have relationships with anybody is about understanding the other person's perspective. So just because I really love something and get super excited around this time of year, I'm really aware that that isn't the same for everybody else. And, you know, not generalising all young people, because some young people that I've worked with have also really loved Christmas, but for me it's about understanding that individual and understanding the things they find hard and what will help. And for some of that, there is an opportunity to try and change people's perspectives as well. So it's not about completely closing that part of myself down, but being able to share the bits that feel okay for people to share, and to try and bring young people into connection with me. So it doesn't have to be about Christmas, but it's an opportunity for us to have a relationship and understand each other, and be able to share some things that might feel fun for each other. So for example, I know you're not keen on Christmas, but we shared the connection last year at the Christmas Carol concert. So I was there enjoying it as a viewer, and you were there enjoying it as somebody who was involved. And for me, that was an opportunity that we had to share together, which was able to develop our relationship that wouldn't have happened otherwise. It's about those opportunities to build relationships and connections that I enjoy so much about that time of year.
It's really beautiful.
Thanks.
And I've heard, so I wasn't around then, was I? But I've heard wonderful things about the Carol concert. How did you find that experience, Finn?
I was terrified, actually, but the choir I was performing with, they were part of Norwich School, with the wonderful Posy. She had reassured me and made sure I was okay throughout the whole process. And I did it, and I felt really good afterwards, partly because everyone was crying.
There was not a dry eye in the house, is what I'm going to say. That brings me back to what I was talking about, that you know, even at that time of year when things can feel really difficult and such an emotive time, what I experienced there was a whole bunch of people who were there to support you and be part of that experience with you and feel all of that pride for you, and you were able to see all of those people there for you and have that moment of connection.
Yeah.
And you smashed it.
How did it feel? Like, were you looking around? Like, did you like seeing the faces of people supporting you? What was that like? Did you catch anyone's eye?
Song itself, I tend to go into a bit of a bubble of like it's just me in the room. But afterwards I sort of came back out of my bubble, and everyone was clapping, and I was standing, and everyone was crying. Did see Lynsey crying.
Had a couple of tears. My eyes sprung a little leak.
I love it. So what did it mean for you, I guess, in that after moment when you'd got past the nerves, you'd kind of bared your soul, because that must have been quite nervous, and it was around Christmas and everyone was just kind of feeling the feels. How did you feel?
I felt the feels. I was really glad that I did it. I was borderline crying myself during the song. It was a very emotional song that I did. But I just felt like a rush of It was like, oh my God, I actually just did that.
Obviously, everyone has lots of different things to do, but I know that, Lynsey, you like to wear certain things that show big old Christmas. What is that like?
Well, I have shall we say, a Christmas jumper routine. So it starts in about the middle of November, where I start wearing what I like to call a pre-Christmas jumper.
There are stages to this?
Yeah, so...
What is a pre-Christmas jumper?
Well, a pre-Christmas jumper is a jumper that's like maybe glittery or sparkly, or it has stars on it, but it's not overtly Christmas. And then from the 1st of December right through until the 1st of January, I wear a Christmas jumper every single day.
No.
Yeah, for Christmas is full-on elf costume. There's a Christmas jumper-shaped hole in my wardrobe this year.
Well, how can we help with that, Finn?
Break are making 3 Christmas jumpers this year.
Oh, yeah.
There is one that says, I am so not doing Christmas. There is... Apparently it's Christmas with a little shrug in there. And third one is I am so doing Christmas, which is...
That's me.
Very, 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 very flamboyant and big, and it is, oh my god, Christmas is great.
That's it. Yeah. So you were involved in the process, kind of from at the design stage. How was that for you, and what did it mean?
We went to the offices of Candid down near Anglia Square, and we had a meeting about what they could look like. The first one, for the Not Doing Christmas one, looked a little bit too much like Cards Against Humanity. Which I loved that, but we just decided to change it to a break font.
Like, what was the sort of message around why we had 3, why we went for what we went for?
You don't have to like Christmas. Like, it's all right to not like Christmas.
I liked the apparently, because it's kind of, you know, I feel like you can't really get by the month of November without going into a shop, hearing a song, seeing some tinsel. So it's a good fun one to be like, how did I miss it? I didn't miss it. It's Christmas again. Finn, is that something you think about? Like, how, if you're out and about getting your shopping or just doing your regular stuff, how do you sometimes feel in a space that is super Christmassy?
I don't go out.
Do you avoid going out at that time of year?
Yep. I will get all my Christmas presents in the January sales or charity shops.
Charity shops are a good one for having to think about it.
Brilliant one.
It can be quite quirky too.
Especially being a break young person.
Well, you've got your discount now.
We get a discount card.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Apart from the people that get chocolate.
Yes, that'll be a rather long time.
Because it would be gone by then, because I would have eaten it.
That brings us round to what you talked about right at the beginning, about money being a bit of a pressure at that time of year and other people's expectations. How do you manage that?
I guess I just tell people, like, that I can't afford sort of a big gift. They're just grateful that I got them something.
Yeah.
Even if it's a box of chocolates or a drink. Like, we just go out for a coffee, and that's enough for them.
It's about those moments to connect with people and to share something in your relationship with that person. That it doesn't have to be a massive gesture that costs heaps of money, and often the things that mean more at that time of year are time and having time with people and spending time with people rather than a gift that, you know, either somebody might not need or want, or, you know, they're just things, but actually being together and spending time together is more important.
And the food, we haven't really touched on the food.
Depends what you're doing though. If I'm by myself and I have the money, I will go and buy a small chicken, a couple of potatoes, some vegetables, and I'll cook myself a little roast dinner.
Yeah.
I have a question. What are your thoughts on Brussels sprouts?
They're vile.
I have one. I don't love the one, but I just say in my head it's cabbage. It's cabbage.
It's baby cabbage.
It's a baby
What's
cabbage.
your opinion on Brussels sprouts?
I have to say, I do enjoy a Brussels sprout, but not when they're really mushy.
So I guess what I'd love to know is kind of if there's anyone from in our residential services that's listening to the podcast, or any of the team members that work in them, kind of, have you got any advice that you would give to the young person if they're thinking, oh, Christmas is coming up and I know that this just gives me all the challenging feelings, or I just don't know what to do or who to do it with or when to do it.
Don't feel guilty for not wanting to do Christmas.
Yeah.
And for the staff, if a young person doesn't want to engage in any Christmas things, don't force them.
Great advice.
Yeah. And Lynsey can be as as Christmassy as possible, and you're still happy.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's going to be funny.
I think that's it, isn't it? That's what's so beautiful about Christmas, is like people let their hair down and they get a little bit silly, and that's what I like.
Yeah, and I think it's as grown-ups we often lose that really playful, childlike part of ourselves, and I feel like at Christmas time people are more likely to bring that back and embrace their playful side, and people who know me know that playful is a big part of my personality, so when other people join in I am fond of it. There are lots of people who enjoy being playful but can find it difficult to let themselves, and at Christmas time I think it feels a bit like people are more willing to do that.
So how can we then make Christmas a little bit more fun and inclusive for you, Finn? Is there anything we can do?
I guess, like, don't make me do any Christmas stuff. Like, obviously ask me first, and half the time I'll just say yeah. Half the time I'll say yes.
And And lastly, when we do our photo shoot for the Christmas jumper campaign, which jumper will you be wearing? And have you changed your mind?
No, I haven't. I'll be doing I am not doing Christmas, but I will be open to do the apparently it's Christmas.
I'll keep that in mind. So if you're interested in one of these jumpers and want to donate and put something towards all the amazing thing that Break do and services that we offer, you can buy the jumpers on our website. Any little Christmassy things to leave us with?
My parting message is, however you feel about Christmas, it is okay. And understanding each other is the most helpful way of navigating those relationships and feelings about Christmas.
Fabulous. Thanks for chatting about Christmas, and we'll chat soon.
Merry Christmas.
Finn's like,
or
no,
not.
thank you.
Or not.
Not.